Story of the Fight listeners, thank you for tuning in. We had an interview with former featherweight contender, top 10 contender, Mr. Dennis the Menace Bermudez. It was a great time, great interview. What were your thoughts, Will?
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was cool. I mean, I watched him on Ultimate Fighter, Team Mayhem, back in high school. Get home from baseball practice, and that was like the one thing I looked forward to every week. So it shows you how fun my life was. But it was cool interviewing him. He's a cool guy. Uh,
Oh,
we did
super
have some
chill.
technical, yeah, we did have some technical issues, right? So we're gonna jump like right into the conversation. But it is a fun one.
Yeah, I hope everybody enjoys it as much as we did. Super chill guy, very down to earth, doesn't take himself too seriously, which we absolutely enjoy. So I hope everybody enjoys this interview. Thanks for tuning in. And I know you have Team Alpha Male over in California, and you mentioned Sanford MMA. I mean, those are a couple of the elite camps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you mentioned you have a couple kids at home. Maddox, is it right? Maddox
Yeah,
and
Maddox and Bryson.
Bryson, who are adorable, by the way, because I follow you on Instagram. Awesome stuff that you post all the time, man. Now, how much do the kids know that their dad's an absolute like badass?
It's coming more and more. So they just had their first like season of wrestling. I mean, it's a wrestling club. They didn't, it's not like the club provided any like tournaments or anything like that. I had to take them to a couple. And there's K through second, and then third through maybe sixth grade.
Okay.
So it wasn't until like 2 weeks ago I started asking my older son, like, "Hey, dude, do you want to stay?" Because I was helping coach, and the coach really liked me. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
he knows I have a lot to offer.
Yeah. He's like, listen, bud, I'm the
like,
coach.
Yo, you want to stay
Yeah.
and wrestle with the older kids? And he was like, yeah. So he's been doing that. So I got to meet some of the older kids, and like the best kid of the older kids, I was at a tournament with my older son, and he was wrestling. I was helping out. I think he like won it. I don't know, whatever. So the next time I see him is in practice, and he's like, "What's up, Dennis the Menace?" I'm like, "What's up, dude?" He's like, "I know who you are. I saw some of your videos." But I guess me cornering him, I don't know if the coach might have said something to his dad, and his dad said something to him, and the kid's like 11 or something, like, so he knows how to use the internet, right? So he was like, so with that being said, my son instantly goes, "Yeah, he's my dad." And then my other son's like, "Yeah, that's my dad." And then my little guy's like, "He can give you an autograph if you want." I'm like,
That's hilarious.
And the kid he didn't really say anything, but he got like whatever. So I was like, so next practice I brought him like a 8x11 or whatever.
Nice.
That's awesome, man.
That's so funny.
But they so with that being said, like with wrestling and stuff like that this year, I watched them and they're pretty awful. Because I watched them in my living room where there's like no padding, and they go balls to the wall, and I see some really good things. I'm like, oh my god, these kids could be good.
Yeah, they got it in them. They got it in them.
What?
You're like, oh, they got it in them.
My little guy for sure, and and then they get out there, and my little guy's just like, I took him to one tournament. I don't know if you saw the post where I was like, I know they weren't ready, but you gotta start somewhere,
Yeah.
And like that, so they train on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and like that week I was like trying to like shove like the point system down their throat and like how to score points. And my little guy just wants to like fuck around and have fun,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he started getting like, because when he's not paying attention, I'm like, Bryson, focus, like stop, you don't know what you're doing. But he wants to have fun, right? So he goes to the tournament. He goes his first match. He goes against an 8-year-old. He's 6, gets packed. I'm like, so he gets packed. They go to the center and like shakes hands, and he's like ready to wrestle again. I'm like, Bryson, no. Like,
Yeah.
come off, that's it, bud. You're done.
Damn.
You know, his mom's like, you did so great. I'm like,
Oh,
man.
do they play any other sports?
they play every sport.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
they actually, so their first year of football, they were dog shit. It's like I remember them in the back of my truck. I'm driving back from a game. I call my father. I'm like, Dad, like when I played sports, I was always like in the top 3, right? He's like, yeah, you were pretty good. I'm like, okay, like, but because their first year, they each only scored like 1 touchdown. I was like, sick. This year, they like broke out of their shell. Like my little guy
Nice.
scored a touchdown every game except for 1.
That's
and then
awesome.
the older guy is like the second best on the team. He scored, a good amount of touchdowns too. So I was like, all right, like proud dad. So maybe next year for wrestling, things will change.
Yeah. Maybe it takes a year to break out.
Last year lacrosse.
Oh, snap.
I think my older guy scored 1 goal, so maybe this year lacrosse will be killers. They do a little bit of jiu-jitsu. I bring them over to the MMA gym. I took them away from jiu-jitsu when they started wrestling so they didn't get confused.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they do some hockey as well.
Whoa, hockey, nice.
Yeah.
Do they like watch professional sports? Do they have like favorite teams and stuff?
Yeah, they like the Chiefs because Mahomes.
Yeah.
I think my older guy likes the Jets because we're in New York.
Yeah.
They love the Rangers.
Mhm.
And I think it stops there.
No baseball?
No baseball.
No baseball.
I remember on Father's Day last year, I took them to Dick's and I just bought them a bunch of shit, like sports. So they wanted they wanted gloves and bats and shit like that. My little guy's like, I want this bat. The bat's like $120. I'm like, no, because you didn't play baseball, 1. And 2, it's expensive. And 3, like, it's just going to, like, fucking rust in my garage. So I bought him, like, a nice wiffle ball bat. The orange ones?
Yeah.
Come with the ball, yeah.
So Maddox is the one that's the Jets fan?
Yeah.
Did you already explain to him that he's, like, setting up, like, a lifetime of disappointment if he's a Jets fan?
Yeah, I don't. And then, like, my little guy goes against, like, what the older guy says. Like,
of course.
Who you like? The Giants or Jets? Jets. Preston, who you like? Giants. Like,
of course.
Yeah, just
brotherly love, man. So, hey, if your kids were to ever want to be in the fight game, is that something that you would support? Or would you
I would support it because I know what it takes and I would be able to take them out of it if I didn't feel they're doing the right, you know what I mean? Or I'd give them the right guidance to do it the correct way. Ideally, I wouldn't want them to get in the fight game. There's sports that pay way more money and you do way less. So their mother's brother's 6'7".
Oh, shit.
So there's potential for me to have giants.
Yeah.
So if they get my athleticism and like her height, we're on something here.
Hey, so I have a really serious question. Is your World Guinness record still intact?
I think so. I don't like that. They don't contact me like, hey, your record got beat. You want to come back and beat it? Unless it hasn't been beaten. I don't know. No one's contacted me and said, hey, it's been beaten. So in my head, it's not. I mean, I've got a book.
Yeah.
And it's in my bookshelf. I'll take it, guys. We'll have a game.
There you go. Yeah.
Let's do it. So in the meantime, Will, what was the record?
Yeah, what was it? Was it a full liter?
It's all power right here. So it's right here. Boom. In there. As long as this book is on my bookshelf or in my possession,
you got the record.
Guinness Book, right? I could show anybody, right?
Yeah.
Fucking
look at that, man.
Look at that.
Handsome as hell.
That's awesome, bro.
That
is awesome.
Has anybody challenged you to that record?
Yeah. There's been people
Nobody's
sending me videos and shit like that. I'm like, well, Doesn't fucking count unless Guinness Book World Records there, loser.
So, for anybody that might not know, what was it? A liter of was
1
it straight
liter, yeah. Why don't you
lemon
guys do it
juice?
right now?
Yeah.
I don't have any ready to go.
You guys
Should've
dropped the
prepped
ball
it.
there.
We
should've
dropped the
prepped
ball,
it.
man. We should have prepped it. Now, do you still watch a lot of UFC?
Yeah.
Or is that just you do? Who's your favorite fighter to watch right now?
I like watching Usman because he's my homie. I like watching Gilbert Burns because he's my homie.
Mm.
I'm biased towards people that I know, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I really like watching John Jones fight. He's fucking super creative and shit. And I don't give a fuck what people say. I think he's the GOAT.
Yeah, he is.
It's hard to
He
argue
has
that,
like
man.
one loss
He
but it's
is.
because he was killing a man. So
Yeah.
penalize him for
Beat-
that.
Beat him
Right?
too good.
He actually almost murdered a guy. Like, no, you lose. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, so
Do you think so?
Wait.
You have the bias like that. I know a lot of guys want like ex fighters to be like judges and stuff. Do you think like biases like that and teammates, ex teammates, stuff like that? Do you think that would get in the way of that?
yes.
Yeah, it'd be hard
Well,
not
I
to,
think-
right?
I think there's ways around it. Like, I live in New York, so like I shouldn't be able to. It's tough.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I've met judges. I'm like, oh, I know you, and the dude's like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, get away from me. Like, don't let anyone know I know you.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That's happened
Yeah.
before.
hmm
For sure.
The wrestling
For sure.
community is pretty tight, you know.
Yeah.
I
It's a
don't.
tough one.
Because I actually had a buddy tell me one time too. He was like, I think it's good that the judges don't know anything about fighting.
I mean, it's
Who
definitely
won?
how
Like, you don't know
Yeah.
anything about fighting. Who do you think won?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, it's the point that does make sense. I guess it's tough with like ground game stuff, though, right? Because like if you don't know anything about it, you might not see something that is happening.
Agreed.
You know,
Yeah, but I mean, but that's one. And when I tell anybody I've ever worked with like that, like, you cannot win an MMA fight from the ground unless you're gonna submit him.
yeah.
So if you're on your back, you better submit him
hmm
or get the fuck out of there.
Or get up, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Pretty much the only options.
Well, I guess that moves us over to our next questions, right? Well, where it comes to like the judging system. You know, if you were to change anything about the current judging system right now, what would it be?
9 judges.
Yeah, you got to
Ooh.
have more.
I like it.
You got to have more. Do you think they should be ringside, or do you think they should be somewhere else with like monitors watching and not right there hearing the crowd and all that kind of stuff?
I mean, why do you say that about the crowd? Just
Well,
because
I mean-
the crowd might be hyping up a certain guy?
I mean, if you go to London, right, and Bisping's headlining, right, the crowd's going to be crazy on everything Bisping does, right?
Right.
Meanwhile, it might not be something that's really significant, so it could influence it. I mean, it's just like I don't think it's really as important as some people
Yeah, but
think it is.
fans are hard in the MMA game. They don't know what the fuck they're looking at. They are pretty harsh.
That's true, yeah.
remember I was fighting Jeremy Stevens in Las Vegas, and the main event was McGregor versus Chad Mendez,
Yeah,
Mm.
and like they were like almost booing Chad Mendez. I'm like, you're in America.
yeah,
How does this? This is insane.
yeah. Shout out Chad
Yeah.
I mean,
Mendes
there's
fighting
that
tomorrow.
aspect too, then, right? I mean, the United
Mhm.
States sucks as like a country in terms of like backing your guys.
Yeah,
Where
Now, Will mentioned Chad Mendes fighting tomorrow. Do you watch anything outside of the UFC?
yeah,
Any bare knuckle in there?
Yeah.
Bellator?
Yeah, I watch them. I watch a little bit of both. I mean, if I'm being honest, I watch more of like highlights of it.
Mhm.
You know,
For sure.
I don't really go. I don't really go out of my way to watch any fighting, but
Yeah.
sometimes there's like super dope cards where I'm like, you know what? I don't have anything like extravagant going on. Let me base my night around this fight because I'll have some buddies come over.
Yeah.
I'll get
Yeah.
Yeah.
pizza, wings, couple beers. Where like a Bellator card or a bare knuckle fighting card, I'm not like, yo, dude, sick card. You guys should come over with beers and
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
No,
got to split the
absolutely.
$5 pay-per-view for the bare knuckle card.
that is pretty. That is a
It's a great
catchy
deal.
little.
Right? That's
Like,
what I'm
what?
saying. Like,
It's $5, you know.
I
Like,
subscribed $5 a month, and I felt really dirty afterwards. But I was like, dude, it's $5 a month.
Yeah, what can you do?
You know,
They made it.
You
It's too good to
you get a
pass
card.
up.
Exactly. Hey, so recently on UFC 270, that one was in California, right? So with that fight being there, the California State Athletic Commission releases the pay for all the fighters. Okay. UFC continues announcing year over year over year growth. Dude, what's the solution for the fighter pay here? Because I've heard both sides, right? I hear some fighters, I think Matt Schnell went on recently saying like, hey, everybody's tripping out, like we shouldn't be paid more. Then of course we have other fighters saying, yeah, pay us. Yeah, what are your thoughts around it?
so you have two guys, right? You have two different voices. You have a newer guy in the UFC, and you have a veteran in the UFC. And the new guy's like, dude, this is sick. Like, I'm getting this opportunity. Like, I have enough money to, pay to train and keep doing what I love doing. And then you have the veteran that's been doing it for a minute, had some losses, had some wins. He's like, I'm kind of thinking about like retiring, and I don't have as much money as I thought I was going to have when I'm retiring. And they're like, fuck. So it becomes the young guy's in it for a title. He wants to become champion, anything it takes to become champion. And even if that's like fighting for $0, they just want to become champion.
Yeah.
That's what got them. And then there's the veteran that's like, and there's the veteran that realizes like, I'm probably not going to become champion.
Yeah.
Like, I lost more than, 3 or 4 times. Those guys are still in my weight class.
Yeah, so at that point, it's like, hey, let me try to bank as much as I can while I'm here.
Right.
Yeah.
And with that, you're not making NFL money. You're not going to retire with millions.
Yeah.
No,
yeah. It's definitely a tough situation, man. And that brings up a really good point because I hadn't really thought about the fact, like, hey, like I said, I brought up Matt Schnell, right? Goes on, what was it, TMZ or something like that, just talking about how it's ridiculous if fighters are asking for more money. Kevin Holland, same thing. That's like, well, if you want to make more money, just fight more. But it's not always that easy. You know what I mean? There's a lot of injuries in this sport more than any when it comes to preparing for
going to work.
for your fight. Yeah, for going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, like at fighting 145, it wasn't like, so my manager would reply like, hey, they got so-and-so. What are your thoughts? I'm like, all right. And it wasn't like, fuck, I got to fight so-and-so. It was, fuck, I've got to lose 30 pounds.
Yeah.
I've got 2 months to lose 30, 2.5 months to lose, 2 months rather, to lose 30 pounds. Like, it was never fighting anybody, But for my stature and my height, and like, if I fight at 155, I'm getting up even more reach in general than I am at 145.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like, for my height, it's just the ideal guy is like a fucking Conor McGregor or like a Sugar Sean. I don't think those
real
guys
lanky
are specimens of athletes at all. It's just they've got good reach. They'd use it well. Usman, he's got super long arms.
Yeah.
I mean, all these guys I have to get hit twice before I get hit you once.
Yeah. I think
Annoying.
about Israel Adesanya too. You know,
Yeah.
he's tall, he's got that long reach.
John Jones. I mean,
John
the
Jones,
Anderson
ideal
Silva.
fighter is not me and Chad Mendez.
Yep.
But then you look at DC, and he's like the exception, right? DC fought his whole career. He's fighting
Yeah.
guys that are so
Well, he
much
can
taller
wrestle
than him
like
and longer.
a motherfucker, and like you're
Yeah.
fighting, at heavyweight. No one's
Yeah.
an exceptional wrestler like he was. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's caveats,
That's
right?
the one weight class where
Yeah.
if you're Olympian, you can crush everybody, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then
For sure.
like most wrestlers, you knock some people out, and you're like, oh wait, I don't need to wrestle. And they totally get away from the wrestling. Josh Koscheck, like,
Yeah, it happens all over. Yeah.
comes the downfall of their career.
Yeah. Do you think they should do away with like the show versus win money and just be a flat rate and then have bonuses? For finishes?
I do think that, because any fighting agreement that's ever come across, let's just say my desk to make it sound professional. I wasn't like, I don't know. Let me sign anyways. Like, no, I'm gonna crush this guy. I'm making all of that money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're fighting just for whatever, like, if you're laid down for money, you'll get kicked out shortly anyways. Like, you're not gonna stay around long. You know what I mean?
It's weird that like you always hear like, oh, the win money's there to motivate you to fight harder, and it's like you're gonna want to win.
Yeah, no, it's everybody wants to win, and if they didn't, you would visibly see it very quickly, and you'd be like, you know what, you have like one more shot before you're.
Yeah, it seems like they're using the win money to incentivize people going for finishes.
The people that created the UFC the originators own casinos.
Yeah, it's all casino stuff. Yeah,
they don't lose money. It's it just cuts it in half. How much they have to pay out.
Mm-hmm. And it's so crazy too. Like you hear Dana talking about bonuses, right? And they're like, Dana, you increased the bonuses for the Houston fights. Are you planning on keeping the increase in the bonuses? He's like, what? We don't want to kill our budget. And I was just like, what kind of budget are you working with, man?
Yeah, you have to be on some, because I forget what card it was. I remember Dana White, there's a fighter meeting after weigh-ins, and we're back there. He's like, and $50,000 for Friday night. And Donald Trump was like, make it like 60. And he was like, all right, 60.
Yeah.
But it has to be somebody like that, like a Donald Cerrone. If Donald Cerrone's not on it, or you know what I mean? If there's
someone who's got
any star power on it, you're not getting bonuses, like bigger bonuses.
Yeah. So if Joe Schmo says, hey, give us larger bonuses, he'll probably be like, hey, you're getting replaced for your fight.
Fighter finale was 40.
Was 40 for the bonus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's the crazy thing. They've been doing 50 for years and years and years, and like 50 isn't worth what it was worth in 2010. It's like it's just not.
I mean, listen. Again, the new guys will be like, yeah, fuck yeah. But some of these guys that have been around, or like, and to me, I've always watched them, like the guys, the main events, like I feel like always get it. Those guys are already getting paid the fucking most. Like,
yeah,
they should almost be like exempt.
Yeah, it's like
if
when
you're
someone
the main event, you already get another check sent to you.
Yeah, when there's like a big knockout and it's like the second fight of the night, it's like that guy probably needs that money more than the guy who's headlining and has a bunch of sponsors and like all this stuff.
But there's like a little bit of like a popularity contest, a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen Dana sometimes.
Stakes involved. So the main event, those are
definitely.
Mm-hmm. We've seen Dana hop on Instagram sometimes, be like, "Who should I give the bonus to tonight? Comment below." And it's like, what?
Right.
Yeah, it's nuts. So you mentioned the Ultimate Fighter finale, right? What are like your favorite memory of being on The Ultimate Fighter? What would it be?
Hang on. It would be me, Dustin Pegg, Mayhem Miller's manager, who became my manager. We call him Doc.
Oh, nice.
Mayhem and Usman, like all chilling in the sauna after practice. It'd be me and Mayhem with like a big fat chew in it. We'd just be just like shooting the shit, all 5 of us.
Oh,
That's awesome.
man.
It was dope.
So the stuff that the cameras wouldn't even capture,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Man, I remember I was in high school when that season came out, and I watched. It was like I would DVR it, right? I'd get home from baseball practice with like a burrito from like the taqueria, and I'd eat the burrito, watch that episode, right, or that season. And I remember, man, the when Bisping fell off the table showboating after beating Mayhem in like ping pong or something, and Mayhem turns around and starts cracking up. That might be the hardest I've ever laughed. Is when Mayhem starts laughing at Bisping.
One of Mayhem's biggest problems, and it's hard to, is he's the smartest guy in the room.
Oh, was he? You get that vibe from him?
Just
Yeah, that's
in
cool.
general. And you see that a lot with people that are super smart, is that they're like self-destructive.
Yeah.
And that's everything he's been going through.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good insight.
And he was like the best coach ever.
Really?
And speaking of my manager, they in time had a falling out, and my manager was like, I kept him in line for that 6 weeks, and that's like the extent in general of how long you could keep Mayhem like in line before he just loses it, just can't stay normal, if you will, and like does something stupid or
causes mayhem. Yeah. I mean, it was the perfect nickname for him.
Yeah. But during that 6 weeks, dude, he was awesome. He was on time. He was where, like, looking back at that season, like Mayhem every once in a while would go on like little benders or whatever, be out late and like wouldn't show up for his team for practice and shit like that,
Yeah. Man, Mayhem, what an OG. What a legend.
Yeah, for real. Well, Will, did you have any more questions before we go to the pictures?
No, not at all. We're good.
No, so Dennis, we'll finish up here really soon. The one thing that we want to do is just go through like a quick little thing, because like I said, Will follows you on Instagram, I follow you on Instagram. I think you have a very funny Instagram as well. So nah, dude, it's good, man. It's good. And the thing that I love about your Instagram, man, is that I get the feeling that you don't take yourself too seriously. You know what I mean? You like to have fun.
So going back to the Ultimate Fighter season 14, I would get the DVDs like the Monday before they aired, and I would watch them. And I remember there was one that was like specialized on me, and it was really bad. And I called my manager instantly after. I'm like, Doc, dude, like they made me look so stupid on here. Like, what the fuck? He's like, who's your favorite person on Friends? Answer the question.
Yeah,
Joey.
It's all Joey, right?
100% Joey.
Yeah. He's like, why? I'm like, because he's stupid. He's like, bingo. And I was like, oh, all right. So
you're like, I got it.
Here we go. Because the whole time I was trying to be someone that I really wasn't. I was trying to be this like hardcore, like serious guy. Like, I'll kill anybody. Which I'm not. I'm a fucking joke.
You like to have a good time. You like to have a good time.
I would be like thinking of like something cool to say while we're live, and like I have to keep my mouth going, and it would just come out bad. So after that, and what my manager said, I'm like, I just need to talk to everybody like I've known them for my whole life.
Yeah.
And just fuck around with them and make jokes, and it comes off pretty organic. Back to you, Joe.
No.
Did you
I love it,
so did you get him and sign with him as a manager before the season aired?
No, I met him. I didn't have a manager. I met him on the Ultimate Fighter, and towards the end, I kind of approached him like, "Hey, man, Like, I don't have a manager. Would you like to be my manager? And he was like, I'll get back to you. And I was like, all right, whatever. So time went on, and he was like, yeah, I'll work with you. It's like, a lot of other people have asked me, but there's something about you that I really think you could, you're special. And what it was, do you guys remember the you had to fight and win to get into the house?
Yeah.
So I'm in the back. I'm in the locker room. They just gave random coaches to random locker rooms. There was red and black. And Doc was in my man. Doc and Usman were in my locker room. And they're like, hey, man, like, what's your style? What you like? They're just trying to, like, put together a little bit of a game plan for me. They don't know shit about me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I wrestled Division I. I throw hands. I don't know. Like, I'm not awesome in jiu-jitsu, whatever. So we go out there. It's me versus Jimmy Rivera. Jimmy Rivera's just beating me around the first round, like, bad, right? So I go back to the corner. Usman and Doc are like, yo, you need to do A, B, C. I'm like, I looked them both in the eyes. I'm like, I got this. They're like, what? We just watched you get pummeled for 5 minutes. What do you, like, they didn't say this, but they're thinking it. They're like, what do you mean you got this? Like, they just gave me this, like, why? They looked at each other and looked at me like, I'm like, I got this. Like, all right. Like, they don't know me from a home. I'm like, all right, whatever. You know it all. All right, go ahead. And then I went out and finished Jimmy Rivera.
Yeah.
And that was what Doc's like, we need this guy.
Yeah.
He needs to be on our team. Cool. And that's why I was their first pick. That's why I signed with him and just.
That's cool.
Awesome. Yeah. That's a really cool story. All right. So we'll finish up here with the pictures. What we're going to do is bring up a couple pictures from your Instagram or some videos or something like that. And if you want to just give us more in-depth information, something behind the picture, and we'll go from there. Sound good?
Yep.
All right, Rich. All right. So we saw
the
this
Ultimate
here.
Fighter. What's the caption say?
Over 11 hours of content and bonus material.
That might be the DVD that actually
I don't know. I must have been just promoting like my season.
No, that's awesome, man.
Like,
that's
dude,
awesome.
Check me out, dude. I'm fucking on my Instagram. I have that I'm a reality TV star.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
And I am. Look, it's right there.
Next one, Rich.
It's me farting on Clay Guida's head.
So
no, I remember I was in on a shot and he sprawled hard on me, and I came out the back door and he went for some funk and I was like, fuck that, and I just fucking
yeah, dude. Last minute adjustment.
What was
like last minute adjustment?
Yeah, just I mean, he's got my arm wrapped. He might have took me there. I don't know.
Have you seen who was it? Was it Mark Hunt that did the atomic butt drop?
Really?
Over in Pride? I think it was. I'm pretty sure.
Like what's that guy's name?
Who, Mark Hunt?
No, who used to do the atomic drop in the WWF?
Oh,
Rashiki.
Rashiki.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, that's phenomenal WWF knowledge.
They both had bleach blonde hair.
Yeah.
Same
that's
skin
good stuff.
tone.
Here we go. It was in Pride against actually Wanderlei Silva.
Oh.
And I have it right here. If we put this on.
Let's see.
And we get an ad.
I mean, he was trying to stomp on his face, but
yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Rich, what was the next picture, Rich?
Oh.
Hey,
so
first,
my haircut, I was trying to go with the American Psycho look.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
The Christian Bale.
Slick back, like longer hair. But
with Mike Tyson there too. Damn.
Yeah, Mike Tyson. I remember shaking his hands, and I was like, yo, I'm from Saugerties. He's like, oh, that's the stop, man. Because he did his training
Yeah, that's pretty good.
in Catskill, which is the next town north of Saugerties where I'm from.
Gotcha. That was a pretty good
Um,
impression of Mike.
But Max Holloway actually contacted the UFC and told him he wanted to fight me. And then my manager called me and was like, hey, Max Holloway wants to fight you. I was like, what? This little guy, this youngster wants to fight me, dude? I was like, I'm in. I drove to the store. Because that became like a ritual. When I would get fights, is I would drink, I don't know, like 12 beers or something like that. I'd drink a bunch of beers, and then like training camp would start the next day. Like that's the last I'm drinking beer.
Nice. Get it all in.
You know.
That was the first thing I noticed.
Fucked up.
That was the first thing I noticed, though, was the slick hair, man. That was the very first thing I noticed when I saw this picture. Looking good. What's next, Rich? Great picture here.
So that was 1 or 2 years ago. So my co-host on the Menace and the Man show, Stanley, hit me up and he was like, hey man, I got a Santa outfit. I am gonna like surprise my nieces and nephews. Like, let me know if you want to use it for your kids at all. So I was like, all right. So we came up with the idea that I keep my boys up late on Christmas Eve watching a movie. And I left the back door open. And he came in like, oh shit, like, they're like, oh, and I was like, yo, I was like really playing, like, oh my god, it's Santa, and they was like kind of quiet, whatever. He's like, oh, and Stan just like, all right, children, like I gotta get going. I'm like, yo, guys, take a picture of Santa. So they got up. This picture happened. He left, and then my oldest like, that was Stanley, wasn't it? I was like, oh, was it?
So for anybody that hasn't seen that video, check it out on Dennis' Instagram because it's an awesome video, man. Your reaction made me start laughing so hard, and the way that Stanley's walking almost reminds me of like that classic like shot of Sasquatch where he's like in the middle walking, and he looks over. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was so
was
good.
like, oh, didn't know you guys were there.
Yeah,
I thought you guys were asleep.
Exactly. Oh, it was awesome. What's next, Rich? The outfit here.
Oh, yeah. So, what we got here? My buddy Kyle Sermon, Blonde Fighter, have a Christmas party every year. They didn't have one this year because Blonde Fighter fought like January, like the second week of January. So she didn't want to have a party with food and drinks that she was displaying for everybody, that close to her fights, which I totally make sense of. But this was the year prior, and I was there with my little lady, and it's an ugly sweatshirt party. I don't know. I don't like doing Christmas shopping. I saw this like little like hat, like it's for girls, like they pull their hair back. Hairband.
Oh yeah, with the clip.
And it had a little hat on it. And I found this awesome, what's that? Nutcracker.
A nutcracker
Sweater. I was like, dude, these go perfect together.
You must have won the best outfit that night.
Sit very awkward to make it more fun.
It was awesome, man.
Thank you.
What's next, Rich?
Good on you. Won the trails. Oof. We're down. Let me give you the instant replay. So I'm fucking right. I come down that. I'm wailing. I am moving. I'm doing this thing, right? I'm coming. And over here, I'm like, oh, looky here. We got ourselves a little ledge. Do I go for the weak one here or I go big? Your boy went big. So I jump this mother. I'm like, ah! I land about yonder, right? I come up in this beam hot. I'm like, oh shit, there's a tree. I'm locking up the brakes. I'm coming high. I'm locking them up. I hit right here. First, tire just digs here. I go over this, flying, and I land yonder. I need to get a go.
I land yonder.
Yeah.
So, I had done that trail with my girlfriend's brother. Maybe like 2 weeks prior, right? And we came around here. I see the like big jump, and he kind of like hits the brakes a little bit, goes slow, which kind of fucked. I had to hit the brakes, otherwise I would have landed on him. And whatever, still had fun. Whatever, go hit it. But I'm like, dude, next time I come here, I'm fucking sending it. There's a lot of center potential there, and I'm gonna take full advantage. So the only time I've ever gone by myself, I'm like, I'm gonna fully send it, and I did. And the video is pretty self-explanatory, right? I just speed, height, just went into the bank high, and just I couldn't make the turn with all the speed I had.
Do you still
full front flip?
Do you still mountain bike a lot?
Yeah, I would like to do even more. I really like it. I would maybe even like to do a race this summer.
Whoa,
oh, sweet.
Did you get the GoPro?
Huh?
Did you get the GoPro?
No, no one sponsored me one yet. It's fucked up.
But the breakdown was like A+, man.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm sitting there in the rack, right?
Yeah.
Dude. I'm laying down with the bike on me. I'm like, I should film what the fuck just happened. Like,
Yeah. No one's around.
Oh man, it was like so intense the way you were explaining it. I was like, oh shit, I feel like I'm there. You know what I mean? Like, what's next, Rich? I think this is the last one. Oh, this is another classic one. Yeah. I love how you yell. I love how you yell "fucker" though. Like as soon as you fall.
Well, now I'm wet because it's gonna melt. The snow's gonna melt on me, and now it's wet. So as you can see, I was taking out the garbage. I'm on my way to go to work. It's like, I don't know, 6:15 in the morning. I'm going to take out the garbage. I slip and fall. And I'm like, I know I have a camera there. And people love watching people fall.
One of the best things.
Right? Every time. It never gets old.
Well, man, I appreciate you being such a good sport about it.
As I took the moment to get up, I'm like, I'm going to flick off the camera. I'm going to save the video. I'll put it up. It'll be funny.
Yeah. And I appreciate you being such a good sport about all the pictures, the videos, man. This is just one of the things that makes you so likable. When you were on TUF, you were so open about your background, the things you had gone through leading up to TUF.
Yeah, but if I could have redone it and really been me, dude, man.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like anybody that follows you on Instagram now sees you, man. Sees you with your kids. Sees you posting these funny videos, the funny pictures, and everybody's getting to see like a side of Dennis Bermudez, right? That maybe they didn't see in TUF, but they're seeing now, man. So just as a fan, as somebody that was watching you on TUF, watched your career, and now still follows you even post-career, like I really appreciate it, man.
Have you checked out Menace Tube?
Menace Tube?
Yeah.
Not yet. Well, this is it. So, Will?
Yeah, we're pretty much wrapping up here. So, yeah, if you want to plug anything, promote anything.
Well, I mean, I have a YouTube channel called Menace Tube. I mean, the last 2 years have all been the Menace and the Man Show, my podcast, which is on Spotify, all the main streaming podcast shit. Also, the Menace and the Man page on Instagram and Facebook and fucking probably Twitter. I don't know. And the Menace and the Man Show, my podcast, we talk to fighters about life, and we talk to people that don't fight about fighting.
Ooh.
Oh.
You know
I like it.
So if I get like a celebrity on, I'm like, yo, you like fighting? Like,
yeah.
I talk about fighters like, oh, you only fight and do fighting. So let's talk about like You drink beers?
That's cool.
You
drink
drink
beer?
girls? Are you single? Like, what's going on here? Oh, you're not? Oh, you're not married. So what's your pickup line? What do you got?
Nice.
That's awesome, man. Well, again, really appreciate you said it was the Menace and the
Yeah.
Man, right? So I'm
Yeah.
guessing
Menace tube.
yes, Spotify, Breaker, Podcast, Radio Public, all those most popular podcast sites, Menace Tube on YouTube.
So Menace Tube, if you want to see some old school like Menace, you gotta go either to the playlist and check out Adventures or whatever. So real quick, one thing I think you guys will really like, it's actually gold. And after you watch it, there's 3 videos. They're my first vlogs. I went to Indie PopCon
Okay.
and I interviewed people.
Nice.
And some people were like, this guy is being a bully, kind of. I'm like, what the fuck? He's
Being a
making fun of
menace.
these people without making fun of them. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But that's what I was doing. And it's pretty funny. And it's a half hour long. If you watch, each video is 10 minutes long. I think it's something special. I should bring it
I'll
back.
definitely check that out. I remember I watched.
I'm gonna check it out.
I think it was when you fought Korean Zombie. They took you to the UFC. Took you to like the Hall of Fame, the
Yes.
Baseball Hall of Fame, and then they took you to the Super Bowl, right? And you like interviewed
Yes.
like. And I remember watching that, and I was like, "Damn, dude, I could watch Bermudez interview people." Like,
So I have on Menace Tube. Before I fought the Korean Zombie, I went to like a haunted house with like a gun type interaction, like a zombie shoot 'em thing.
yeah.
That's on Menace Tube. too.
Nice.
But again, you gotta go way down deep.
Gotta go
into
deep.
The beginning videos to see all that stuff.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm doing tonight then.
Same here. Same here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Dennis, I really appreciate it. If you don't mind hanging out a couple seconds here. For everybody else that tuned in, thank you so much. Thank you to Dennis, the Menace Bermudez, once again. And everybody, thank you for listening to another special episode, The Story of the Fight.
Yeah.